Not many state capitals are surrounded by oil derricks, but this is the heart of crude oil country, Oklahoma City. The oil produced here is consistently high quality, just like a curly-headed kid who played his first organized football here and now is on his way to the NFL Hall of Fame. Steve Largent has a lot of fans here in Oklahoma. Dell City is just south of the state capitol. And the bumper sticker on this car in the driveway is just an indication of who lives inside. Sue, of course, has watched Steve develop from a spunky 3-year-old who brought home his first fish and flew kites with the neighbor kids to an NFL standout, even though he almost didn't try out for football.
When he started to high school, he just almost decided not to play, and he wanted to kind of run with one of his friends that wrestled, and he thought, well, that's what he'll do. And this boy had a motorcycle, and I thought, oh no, you know. And I said, Steve, I said, please just go out and try. And I said, then if you don't like it or you don't make it, you know, then it'll be all right. You don't have to play.
I mean, he was such a competitor. It was such a thrill, and you know, to work with a young man with the determination that he had.
Jerry Potter has retired from the coaching ranks, but will never forget Steve Largent. Steve was one of Jerry's standouts on offense and on defense. Watch this interception and return by Largent, a 95-yard touchdown.
Steve, of course, played the whole ball game for us most of the time because he was such a he was an aggressive player. So he played defensive halfback for us. In this particular game, he intercepted a pass, and he ran it back 95 yards for a touchdown. They called it back. Well, it wasn't right at the next play, but it was sometime later in the game. He turned right around and intercepted the pass for about 95 yards and ran it for a touchdown. And so he really, you know, he keeps on going, and regardless whether he's playing defensive halfback or wide receiver or what.
There was one cornerback spot that nobody could play, and I'd never played, you know, defensive back before, and they just put me over there and let me try it out, and it was actually pretty fun. You know, I enjoyed playing defense.
Steve always had something that an inner desire to show people that he could do things, you know, and to play. And he's not only from a player standpoint, but from a person standpoint, he was just a tremendous, gave you a great feeling to work with him as a person.
I guess when I think about Steve, I think about a real competitor. That's the main thing that pops in my mind.
Pat Ryan plays quarterback for the New York Jets and was 1 year behind Steve at Putnam City.
I think Steve's secret is, you know, is he's so quick, and you know, everything he does is very precise from what I can tell. You know, he runs great patterns, and he very rarely drops a football. You know, and he doesn't have that blazing speed, but he knows how to run routes and how to get open. I think it's been his secret.
Mike Davis, now the Vice President of Administration for Tulsa, was athletic director when Steve played here.
Curly-haired guy that looked about 12 years old, and I guess you still have to say the same thing about him. But a great individual, good character, a great student, and a great athlete for the university. He clearly stands out as one of the best I've ever seen, someone that you just like to watch play. He always seems to be open, he always seems to catch the ball. People have tried to explain it, but I think that's just a talent that great receivers like Steve have.
Of course, Steve still has many ties to Tulsa, none more important than Rick Dixon, a former teammate at Tulsa and still a close friend. Rick manages the sporting goods store in Sapulpa, just south of Tulsa.
Probably by about our junior years, you could see it. Really, I kind of, sometimes I resent it because that's why I'm in here trying shoes on and stuff, because I couldn't cover him, nobody else could. So. We're always pulling for him, always waiting to see, see if we can catch a game here and there. We usually go up to Kansas City every year, but after the last 2 seasons, he's asked us not to come back anymore.
And Rick says he'd love nothing better than to get some Super Bowl tickets from his buddy, something Steve would love to be able to do, and something his mom wouldn't mind as long as Steve is playing in the Super Bowl.
Sue, did you ever imagine that Steve would turn into a professional football player when you were watching him at Putnam City High School here in Oklahoma City?
Sometimes I have to pinch myself and wonder if it's really true, you know. But I'm just real excited about it. I really hope he does go all the way. The good Lord will just keep his body healthy and, he doesn't get hurt. I'm just sure he will.